Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I've got a pattern for you and you can see a little sneak peek here behind me, and I've made a digital file which you can purchase and then you can make the pattern yourself. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I make it and some tips and tricks on how to finish the piece at the end. Let's get started.
When you purchase the pattern, you will get a digital instruction booklet. It will have some information about the materials that I'm using and some instructions. And it will also have these two A4 sized patterns in black and white. And you can print those out and then you can cut the margins as I'm doing right here. Make sure that they align perfectly, and then you can stick some tape on it to make sure that they stay together. The pattern is 30 by 30 centimeters, so I'm taking a piece of monk's cloth that is quite a bit bigger than that. And I have this frame here and I'm going to outline the inside, which is exactly the 30 by 30 centimeters. I hung the pattern on the window. To place the cloth over the pattern correctly, you have to put the right bottom corner even with the right bottom corner of the tablecloth. That's what I'm doing right here. Then I can stick the entire monk's cloth against the window. When I'm done, I can start tracing the pattern, which is what I'm doing right here. It's quite a simple pattern with thick lines, so you should be able to do it easily. As you can see, it was so bright outside that I needed sunglasses. For this project, I'm using my snap frame. Place the monk's cloth over the frame and snap the bars in place. This way you can pull the fabric really taut and everything stays in place. I'm using my laver punch needle. It's a punch needle for finer yarns. It's a great needle for this kind of detail. I'm starting with the bottom of the pot and I'm going to use the satin stitch, which means that I'm going to use a long setting on my needle to make large loops on the back to really make sure that the stitches stay in place. I start at the bottom corner of the area and then jump up and down, making really long stitches. I use a different color for every layer of the pot. I've chosen to go from dark blue to light green. Of course, it's totally up to you which color you use. I'm experiencing a problem here and I'm trying to fix it by making my needle longer. It seems like the loops on the back won't stay in place. As you can see here, I still haven't fixed the problem. Maybe the yarn is a little bit thicker at this point. That happens sometimes. Maybe that's why the yarn is getting stuck in the needle, and when I'm pulling it up, I'm pulling out stitches, as you can see happen right here. So what I'm trying to do now is I hold the loop on the back while I pull up my needle, and this way the needle won't be able to take the yarn with it and the loops stay in place. I'm now going to continue with the upper part of the pot, and for this I'm going to make flat stitches. So I've adjusted the needle to a shorter setting because I don't want these super long loops in the back, as it is not necessary for the flat stitch. I'm going to work my way around and round until I reach the middle, and I'm going to do the same for the bottom part of the pot. I'll give you a peek of what the back will look like. As you can see, it can become quite messy, especially underneath the middle section of the pot where I had to pull on the loops for the stitches to stay in. That's it for the pot right now. I'm now going to fill up the stems with black, and I'm going to outline the leaves with black as well. This is a specific design choice. If you've bought my pattern, you can also decide to not outline the leaves, but I kind of like it. I'm filling in the leaves with the satin stitch, which means I set my needle to a long setting and I'm going back and forth with my needle. As I want my stitches to be at a certain angle, I sometimes only go halfway with the needle and then go back to the middle of the leaf. As you can see, this ensures the angle that I'm after. I'm using a lovely yarn right here that works really well with the laver punch needle and is working really well with the satin stitch. I can just go back and forth and I don't need to pull on any stitches on the back. The yarn I'm using right now is a cotton, and this one proves to be a little bit more difficult. So what I've done now is I've set the needle to a short setting, as you can see, and I'm pulling on each stitch. So I'm going down, holding onto it on the back, pulling it up and going down, holding onto it and going up. I'm just pulling on all the stitches. And to be really clear, I'm holding on to the stitches rather than really pulling on them, because we don't want the loops to become super long. That's not necessary.
So last night, as it was too dark to film, I decided to continue work on my background, and I've come quite far actually. So I've got the half of it done already, almost half of it, and what I've decided is that I'm going to make vertical lines on the background. So I'm going up and down all the way through. So I'm not circling the leaves first, I'm just going up to the end of the leaf and going down again. And I've also decided to outline the pot because I felt that it needs some definition next to these very defined leaves.
I was thinking about outlining the upper and bottom part of the pot as well, and I tried it out, but I thought it was too gimmicky, so I pulled it out. But if you like it, you can of course do it if you make it yourself.
And I'm going to continue working on the background and I'll be back soon.
The background takes up a huge part of the artwork, so that's going to take quite a bit of yarn. That's why I decided to try out a really short setting, as you can see right here, and for this yarn it's working great, but be careful because you don't want stitches to come out afterwards. I would suggest to always try it out on a little piece first. As the background has a very vertical texture, I want the tablecloth to be different. So I'm going to circle all the squares, all the different squares in separate little squares, basically. So I'm going round and round, and that gives a very different texture, and I'm very happy with the result. To make the grid, I'm using the satin stitch again. I'm pushing the needle in at each intersection of the squares. And I've set my needle to quite a long setting because I'm going over other stitches and I really want to make sure that they stay put. So that was it for punch needling, guys. So now the next question is, what are we going to do with it? I'm going to frame it and I'm going to use this canvas and I'll show you a little trick on how to get the back super neat. So as you can see, the canvas has two sides, and because I have a lot of loops on the back, I'm going to put it on like this. Then the loops can just fall into the back of the canvas. I'm making sure everything is straight and then I'm turning the whole thing over. Now it's just a matter of folding over the edges and stapling it to the canvas. And it might be wise to get some help.
And there you go, this is the result. So I've put it over this canvas and now the back side is completely white. No loops and no mess. It looks really great. And if you want to hang it, you can get a box frame. It will look like this. Totally finished. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and if you're interested in purchasing the pattern, you can head over to my description box down below. There I will put a link and it will take you straight to my Etsy shop. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my video. It really helps support my channel, and if you click the bell, then you will also get notified every time I post a new video. So I hope to see you next time. Bye!